We're looking forward to spending some more time with you again. I know we met many of you a couple of Fridays ago at orientation, and so looking forward to diving in to more of the work starting today. So I'm going to just quickly go over our agenda for today. We'll start with a welcome, and then we'll have a breakout connection question, and Madeline will lead us in that so that we can get to know each other a little bit better. We'll go over our norms. We do this at every meeting so that everybody understands what the expectations are. And then Anna from the Illinois Student Assistance Commission will walk us through the student portal with some tools that you can use and that we'd like you to share with students at your school. We'll talk about using and sharing the tools. And then Dominic from Ed Systems will talk to us about the dashboard. I know we talked about this during orientation, and we'll talk a little bit about the conference presentation. Then we'll talk about the assignment, and we'll close the meeting and make sure that we get you out of here at 5:30. So Madeline, if you want to put us into breakout rooms.
Yeah. So our connection question for the breakout before I send you off will just be, you'll be in groups of like 3 or 4 people. And in that group, just, say hi to one another, introduce yourself if you haven't been able to meet yet, which most of you probably haven't. And then find as many things as you can in common with one another. So whether, hey, you both have brothers, or you are all Bears fans, or you have a Labubu, like whatever it is, like find that thing you have in common and see how many you can come up with, because the team that has the most in common is going to win. So we'll give you just a few minutes in those breakouts. Anybody from room 1 want to share what you learned that you have in common with your peers?
Sure. So we've all watched Wicked. We've all read Harry Potter. Our favorite colors are all cool tones. We all have pets. We all enjoy Cheerios. Our nails are not done or painted. We've all been involved in some sort of like choir singing group. We all like strawberries. None of us have allergies. We all have magnetic fridges. We've all been to a mall in the last month. We all have TVs, and all of our hair is past shoulder length.
Wow. How many? I lost count. Like 10, 11?
13.
13. All right. Group 1 is coming out strong. I love that they were a mix of like personal attributes, interests, things you've done. Cool. Group 2. Who would like to share? It was Grayson, Luna, Owen, Tawasol, Daniela.
Sure, if we're group 2 or not. We all like music. We all go to school. We all like pets or have pets. And we all have siblings. We all drive. We are all upperclassmen, and we all watch sports.
Nice. Good assortment as well.
How many were those?
It was 7.
All right. And group 3, close us out. What did you all discuss you have in common?
Off the top of my head, I know we said we all played Roblox. We had a lot of games on Roblox that we all played. What else? We all like watching sports, like or like playing sports like volleyball and soccer. We all watch sports. And I think Aisha remembers the rest.
I believe that's pretty much it. It says something everything. Oh, and we also like different subjects in school, like math, reading, history, things like that.
Nice. Very well-rounded group. Lots of different interests. What sports came up that you all like to watch?
The sports that came up was volleyball, cross country, track, basketball, softball, and soccer.
Nice.
Mhm.
Awesome. I definitely love watching sports too. All right. And then Edith, Anna, Dominique, and I. Edith, I think you have the list, but
Yeah, I can read what we talked about. We all love movies. We like walking. We enjoy podcasts. We love working with young people. We were all born outside Illinois. We all have siblings, and we're all introverts. And it might be helpful for us to introduce ourselves because we all have not met everyone. So I'm Edith Juguna, and I'm the director of the Success Network. Madeline?
I'm Madeline Green. I'm a policy manager at Education Systems, so I work with the Success Network as well.
Anna?
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Maria. I am with the Illinois Student Assistance Commission.
Dominic?
Hi everyone, my name is Dominique Chauvier. I'm a data analyst at Systems.
Great, thank you. And I think there are people who are not at the last meeting. So if maybe the students can just very quickly go around and say your name and your school, that'll be helpful. So Aisha, Josh, Owen, that's the order I can see you in.
All right, so my name is Aisha Kamara. I go to South Shore International College Preparatory. It's in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm 16. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm 16. I'm a junior, and I go to Schaumburg High School.
Hi, Owen. I am 16. I go to Mendota Township High School, and I am a junior.
Lizzie, Grayson, Elizabeth Nightingale, and Paige.
I'm Lizzie. I go to Conant. I'm 17 and I'm a senior.
My name is Greg Warren. I'm from Vienna High School, and I am 17, and I'm also a senior.
My name is Paige Jackson. I go to Moline High School. I'm 16, and I'm a junior.
My name's Elizabeth Nightingale. I'm 17. I'm senior in high school. I go to Pekin High.
Hi, my name's Paige Emerson, and I'm a junior at Fulton High School.
All right, thank you. Luna, Zoe, Tawassol, and Daniela.
Hi, I'm Luna. I'm from Galena High School. I'm 16 and I'm a junior.
Hi, I'm Zoe Blum. I'm 16, a junior, and I go to Galena High School.
Hi, I'm Tawassol, and this is Daniela, and we both go to North Chicago Community High School.
We're seeing.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves and for sharing the things that you have in common.
So these are norms that have been created by past members of the Student Advisory Council, but they're always, a fluid document. So we're open to new suggestions that you all have to add to this list of norms. But would anyone like to read these norms for us? Put a hand up. Grayson, go for it.
Our norms, expectations for participation: be on time, actively participate in meetings, complete assignments, listen to others, be respectful, be inclusive, stay open-minded, be kind, don't be afraid to talk, don't do other tasks, if possible, cameras on at all times.
Thanks so much, Grayson. Are there any that you all feel like are missing or you'd like to add to this list? Again, feel free to put your hand up or come on audio or put it in the chat. Seeing as this seems like a pretty good list, at any point, if you feel like there's something we missed, please feel free to put it in the chat. And again, as Edith mentioned, we'll be revisiting these at the top of every session just to keep them top of mind and make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable to them. But again, thanks for being here and thanks for keeping these norms in mind.
All right, thanks, Madeline. And now we'll kick it over to Anna Moya to talk to us about the ISAC student portal.
Thank you, Edith. All right, so I am from the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. Like I had mentioned earlier, it's also known as ISAC or best known as ISAC. So if you've heard of financial aid programs along with the Pell Grant when you apply for the FAFSA in the state of Illinois, we also have the MEC Grant. That's pretty much what like every student knows us as once they do get into college or even like their senior year and they're planning for college. So I am sharing our student portal, which is a portal that is at no cost to the students, where there's a bunch of tools and resources for you all to be able to use. I know a lot of these, even if your school works with schooling, Cello, or any of those programs, sometimes you do get included into the programs. So just wanted to make sure, you know, we navigated a little bit together. And then we are going to break out for you all to partner up and just be able to look through the website, like specific applications a little deeper. All right, so this is our student portal. The link for it is studentportal.isac.org. When you get here, you'll have the opportunity of seeing all of the resources that we have. Within the resources page, these are partnerships that we possibly have or programs that we have here housed at ISAC. Some of the resources we have is going to be Apply. This is going to be a scholarship search engine. We have the First Generation Scholars Network. We also have the ISAC College Q&A. For the First Generation Scholar Network, if you are a first generation student, meaning that, you know, you are the first of your family that you're, you know, even if you have older siblings, but you're the first of your family generation wise, to go to college or that makes you a first generation student. So it is a network meant to provide additional supports for first generation students. If you are a first generation student, even if you are a junior, if you are a senior, I really invite you to check this place out, just because we do have for all of the campuses in the state of Illinois, if there's additional supports for first generation students, you're able to see if they have a specific office that would assist with that. So if you're interested, and I know one of the ones that do really, really well, Illinois Central College, they have a first generation club and support on their campus. We, depending on what you're interested, or even if that's the driving force when you're doing your research as to like how to choose a college or what college you want to choose, that's going to be a really great resource. If you're interested, you can join the network. These supports are going to be available. It's not like you're going to be receiving spam. This is just additional supports and to get check-ins with you to see how you're doing, what is needed. And also if there's any events specifically for first generation students, that they'll be able to send that as well. Another area that I really want to explore that not a lot of, I think counselors are familiar with it, but not specifically students, and this is a student service. We have our ISAC core members. These are near peer mentors that have just graduated from college. We have about 80 of them placed throughout the entire state based on the community college. So if you go to the ISAC core tab, if you look up your zip code, you are able to find the ISAC core member that would be closest to you. You're able to reach out to them. You can meet with them one-on-one. You can also set up appointments in case, you know, if you're having, if you're going through the financial aid process, the college application process, and you want someone to be able to explain it to your parents, or you're going to explain it to yourself, they are available for that. They also, if there's any of you whose parents speak Spanish, they do have virtual meetings for outside of school hours to make it accessible. These are booking meetings. And they are available in English and Spanish. It's not just parents, it's for students as well. So whatever it is that you need, they're here to help you. This is like a live person providing the assistance. And like I said, they just graduated from college, so they recently went through the process the journey you guys are all about to take on as well. So they are a great resource. Next, so we have resources, which I'll come back to again in a little bit. We went over the ISAC for. We have the toolbox. The toolbox is pretty awesome in big group settings or even smaller group settings. Specifically, I do want to mention we have a PACE student checklist. You might have not heard of PACE yet. This is something that schools are starting to adopt and implement in their schools, but PACE is a post-secondary and career expectation framework. This is meant to be a roadmap to help you be college and career ready. So schools are starting to adopt it at a bigger level now. And they are starting to build it into the curriculum, into the everyday class day. And if you look up the PACE framework, not that is complex, but it is more geared towards schools to know what to do with students. The PACE student checklist is an awesome tool to help you keep on track of like what are some of the things that you need to do, and this is broken down by grade level. So in 9th grade, career-wise, what should you be exploring? What are some of the skills that you want to explore, your interest? What are some things that when you're a freshman, you need to at least be familiar with terms, and then college as well. So it is broken down by grade level from 9th to 10th grade. And every grade, if you look at the bullet point, it's pretty much like a checklist item to help you get you closer to making that informed decision for life after high school. This is an awesome tool. It is meant to really keep you on track and breaking things up rather than being in your senior year. And then all of a sudden you have to explore careers, you have to know everything about money and financial aid, you have to just know exactly what your future has to look like. This helps you explore it in smaller pieces so that you're able to better process it as well. So check this out, especially seniors. We have the math estimator tool, which before we complete the FAFSA, if you're not sure if you're gonna receive any funding for the math grant, the math estimator can help you out with that. Just so that you have an idea of before you receive your financial aid offers of how much money you'll be receiving. Very briefly, resources. I know that when you go directly into the student portal, it points out a couple of resources, but there are a lot more resources on here. We have Clean Your Future, CIS 360. This is one of the newer partnerships that we have where it has an awesome scholarship search engine and you're able to create a profile and has everything in there. And also, if you're looking at the PACE checklist, you're able to see activities that align with that PACE checklist. So if you look at the checklist and you're like, even though I'm a junior, there's things on here that I didn't do as a freshman. On CIS 360, you can explore all of those things so that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. And one to know is going to be the program applications and status checks. So I mentioned the MAC grant, but we also administer all of the financial aid programs for students. So we do have programs for students who are in the Illinois National Guard grant, veteran grant. We have a couple of other programs depending on your interest and also your personal experiences. And this is where those applications are housed. So if you're not even sure of what you want to do yet, but you are thinking of life after high school, this is going to be a really good place to learn more about those programs.
I think the next thing we want the students to do is look through specific tools, and Madeline will put them into breakouts, and then we'll take a look at those tools and come back and talk about what you saw in those tools or what you learned, and we'll give you specific tools to look at. And part of the reason we're doing this is because we want you to learn about these tools, but we also want you to be ambassadors to students at your schools about these tools, especially the PACE framework, and we'll talk about that a little later.
Would love to hear just a couple takeaways that you have from exploring your assigned tool. Maybe something you learned, something you didn't know, something that you didn't realize was part of the ISAC tools. So we'll go in order from group 1. So the internships and summer jobs page. What did you all find on that page? What was interesting in the listings that you saw?
Did you say page?
Sorry, I meant like the internship and summer job listing page, not the page, the person.
Oh, okay.
But anyone in group 1, feel free to share.
So we found out that so Danielle and Tawassel, is that how you say your name?
Yeah.
Okay. We figured out that they're from North Chicago and I'm all the way from down here in Vienna in Southern Illinois. And it's there was still a lot of opportunities for internships for both of us. And also, not as it just like an internship that you're just going to and just being there. It's also a paid internship.
Mm-hmm.
So you're benefiting from it, learning, and also getting paid while doing it.
I would also say that's a variety of choices. There's wealth management, AI related stuff. Also, with healthcare, if you're interested in something, there's a variety of choices that you can choose from.
Nice. Anything particular that you all think you might be interested in exploring or applying to in the future?
I feel like there is something that I just gotta look more in depth into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If I spend more time looking into it, I can see something. But we did see a Great Wolf Lodge internship, and we thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I imagine that comes with some pretty fun perks on the side. Awesome. Great to hear that there were lots of opportunities regardless of geography, north of the state, south of the state. You're in lots of opportunities. Awesome. Well, thank you, group 1, for sharing. Group 2, you all looked at the college checklist. What did you all find?
We found a little bit that in your underclassmen years, you really don't have too much to worry about regarding college. It's always in the back of your mind, but freshman and sophomore year is more about keeping yourself well-rounded and just in things, while junior and senior year, it starts to ramp up. You start taking ACT, start doing all the preps. Senior year, you apply for the FAFSA, apply for all the colleges, stuff like that.
Yeah, it kind of just gave you a bunch of steps you can take each grade level to help you prep for college and what you want. So it just gave a checklist on different things you can do.
It also gave recommendations on when to start looking at stuff, when to tour stuff, and when is the best time to apply for internships and stuff.
Thanks for sharing. Sounds like even if it's not something you have to do as an underclassman, it's still nice to hear that it's something coming down the pipe that you can get ready mentally for. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Group 3, you all had the financial aid game. What did you all learn?
So as a senior, I have to look into colleges and stuff this year, and our school is just very big about that. And there were just facts on there because it was a game, so there were a lot of questions just about facts about it, but there was stuff saying it stood out to me how it was saying if you go to a 4-year private college that offers a bachelor degree, if you're in or out of state, you pay the same tuition, which in most colleges, it's like you have to pay a lot more if you're out of state. And so it was just like interesting facts in there that were really helpful. So
Yeah, is that something that it sounds like you were not aware of that?
yeah, no, that wasn't something I was aware of. With the website we use for our high school, it lets you look at the colleges and it shows you like a calculator kind of, and you say if you want to be out of state for this college or if you're going to be out of state, and it's always like more expensive. So the fact that it shows like options for your degrees and stuff and how that changes the price for financial aid and things like that, like that was interesting.
Oh, the financial aid game is sort of is Jeopardy of what you were talking about. And I realized that I seen a few Chicago high schools on here. So I was like, wow, I didn't know that Lane Tech played this game as well as California. But I realized that some of the questions is helpful and they're like basic knowledge questions. Like if you were to talk to your counselor, they will pretty much talk about these few things and these questions that was listed in the games. And it also has like a review button. So if you do get something wrong, you can just click it again and it tells you the right answer. And then it'll somewhat like give you like an understanding, oh, so this is why it's the right answer. So yeah.
Did you guys explore the advanced financial aid or just the financial aid one?
I got to both of them.
And yeah, it sounds like there's some competition across the state of who can get the highest score. Go ahead, Taryn.
Yeah, there was a lot of facts on the financial aid game. Teach you about stuff you might not know, test your knowledge and tell you if you're wrong or not. Stuff like where college applications are found, aka as online or on paper, or stuff like what's the difference between community college being to how expensive the tuition is and what type of degrees are offered. Things like if you have completed algebra 2, then you might succeed more in college than others. And things like how you can, when you're majoring in nursing, seeing like any type of degree, like associate, bachelor, and master's degree can help you achieve that goal. And about how the size, location, and cost being most important when looking for what type of college you want to go to.
Thanks for that share out. Sounds like a lot of really valuable information in that game. And lastly, room 4, you all had the PACE student checklist. What are some takeaways you had from that?
So we all found the PACE just really helpful because it broke it down into like very easy to understand steps and kept it from being overwhelming. Something that we didn't realize before in the checklist was that you should determine colleges that you have 1 safety, 3 matches, and 1 reach when you're a junior. We hadn't heard of that before. And we found it helpful that you can look at the section that's ahead of yours to see what you can prep for. And if you are, say, a junior or a senior and you're getting your first look at this tool, you can still look at the pages behind yours to catch up or do the stuff that you hadn't seen.
One of the things that I like about the PACE checklist is I didn't do this myself, and I think it would have been so good if I did, but starting to think about the actual schools, like even at the beginning of 9th grade, right? We hear, you start to develop that identity of like, I guess I want to go to college, but like starting to explore it so that you have an idea of like what schools you want to visit. That's one item that I like. In addition to the options of having a safety reach school as well.
Thanks everyone for going in those breakouts and exploring those tools. Even if you weren't assigned to a specific tool, definitely check out all of the tools available on the ISAC board website or in the ISAC student portal website. And then Paige is going to tell you a little bit about a preview of our upcoming homework assignment that will be to kind of share this tool with your school community.
Yeah, just before Paige jumps in, thank you so much, Anna and Madeline, for leading us in this discussion. And thanks to the SAC for your really thoughtful examples of what you learned. Just before Paige jumps in, I want to just mention that this will be the assignment for this meeting. We will ask you to share these tools with students at your school and we'll send an email with details about what that looks like. But we ask you to think about how you learn about things and how students at your school can learn about these tools. So if you learn things visually and would like to create a poster, maybe with a QR code that leads to the website, or if you'd like to host a meeting with one of your clubs and share these tools, or if you would like to create a TikTok video that you can share with students at your school, whichever method you think will be most effective, we'd like you to figure out a way to share this information with others at your school, because like I said, when we first met, we see you as ambassadors for the network and for the policies and the work that we're trying to get your schools to implement. And Paige Emerson is a returning SAC member and did a really great job in sharing the tool, the PACE student checklist. So Paige, I wanted you to just share a little bit about how you went about it and what you learned from the process.
Well, thank you. So last year I decided to focus my assignment on the resources section of the ISAC student portal, along with obviously the PACE student checklist. So the first thing that I did was give a informational meeting during 5th hour, which is our final period of the day. It's our free period, that any students could attend, and I walked them through the resource section in the PACE student checklist. And then roughly a week later, I gave a mandatory attendance presentation to the senior class and walked them through the resource section in the PACE student checklist. And then following that meeting, I gathered data by like raise of hands on what tools students could likely see themselves using and reported back that. And then finally, I designed a graphic to promote the PACE student checklist and got that put up on the rotating slideshows, TVs around the school. That way, students could see where they can find it and what information they'll gain from that.
Thank you so much, Paige. And who did you work with at your school to help you be able to get that information across? Did you work with specific teachers or counselors or?
I worked with my school counselor, and then I worked with my principal to set up those 5th hour meetings.
Great. Thank you. And so that's the expectation for the assignment. And we normally give you 2 weeks to complete the assignment. Again, we will send all this information to you via email next week. And we really ask that you find an adult in your school, in your building, who you can work with to help you share this information with others at your school. And I dropped in the link in the chat, the link to the assignments that the students did. So we share those on our website, and we send them via email that goes to about 3,000 people across the state, so that others who are in schools that are not in the network can also learn about these tools. So you're really serving as an ambassador to students across the whole state of Illinois, not just in your school. So really encourage you to make sure that you do that assignment and use your creativity, however you think students at your school will learn best. We are very flexible about how you do that. And then I'll kick it over to Dominique to lead us in the next section.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Edith. That ISAC tool is so cool. I wish I had that when I was applying for college. I had no idea what I was doing. So I will be introducing the Success Network dashboard. So before I get into the demo, I wanted to ask a question. How do you use data in your daily life? You can come off mute. Some examples in the chat. Just what do you think about when you think about data and how you use it on a daily basis?
I would say that we use data a lot in my stats class. So like we're learning how to use it and how to like implement it in different ways.
Yeah,
my teacher is teaching us that right now, and it's difficult, but we're getting through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So statistics is a great way to share and calculate data on a daily basis. Let's see. Madeline said she uses data to track her runs in Strava or the Nike running app. Yes, so you can use data to track your progress. What else? Any other examples?
Last year in my CTE group, we collected data from both the high school and the middle school, well, 8th graders from middle school, to learn about their knowledge on CTE. Then we would do like a presentation on it and see if they learned anything, see what their goals are, or how we can like implement stuff. And we compiled the data and we made a presentation and took it to our school board to talk about the most common themes that we could try to fix.
Yeah, absolutely, Paige. So it sounds like you collected qualitative data, which is just like general comments, feedback, anything that's not a number. And that could be just as useful as quantitative data. It can be analyzed in a lot of different ways. One or two more examples.
So in my math class, it's an IB class, so it's math applications and interpretations. I think that's the full name. And right now we're doing statistics, and we have an IA assignment, and it's like I think it's a 10-page essay, and we have to like analyze charts. And then that data that we use for my plan, I'm doing like school scholarships. Which scholarship plan should the college student like consider? So I have to create my own data for that, and I also have to create a graph and statistics to like back up my aim in my research.
Absolutely. So collecting data, and that's your evidence to provide your argument. And Luna, you said that you use data for your intro to weather class. That was actually one of the examples I had. Compare current daily temperatures. So you can use the temperature, for example, to determine like what clothes you have to wear, or if you need an umbrella for the day, something like that. So data really is everywhere. We collect data just by looking things, touching things, tasting things, but also, so that's more qualitative, and then also our quantitative data. What's the weather? How many people are going to attend our party? Things like that. And we use that data for action.
And Dominique,
So
there's
with
one
that-
more interesting one from Paige.
Oh, I missed that.
She says she's the student liaison at her school for her school board. So she thinks about using data from surveys and sends them out to students to see overall response for different tools and ideas or classes, which she then presents to the board, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome, Paige. Yes, surveys are a great way to collect data, whether it is quantitative, qualitative, both. And then using that to create different tools, ideas, classes, I think that's great. Oh, sorry, I accidentally went way back. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. Okay, haven't done this in a while. Okay, so the Success Network dashboard. I know that Edith went over the graduation dashboard last time, but I just wanted to walk you through the 6 different views that we have. We're going to do a demo very soon. But so the dashboard is something that is a tool that the communities in our network can use to support data tracking. So look through trends in their district, compare it to state averages, see what observations there are, things they're excited about, what challenges they have, etc. It's just a really great way to check in and see how their district is doing. And these metrics are really chosen to show what is the progress towards getting students to post-secondary. So the first one is 9th grade on track. What that is basically doing is making sure students are on track to graduate. Really, it's an indicator of success. So for that one, it's if you passed 5 courses and haven't failed half a credit. So half a credit would be like a semester or half a year of coursework. It's basically just saying this percentage of students is on track for graduating versus not. Early college coursework, that's the percentage of students taking early college courses. So when we say early college courses, we mean AP, advanced placement, IB, International Baccalaureate, or dual credit courses. CTE participation shows the percentage of students taking career technical education courses. So those courses are really geared towards preparing you for high skill, high wage employment after secondary. So that could be anything from an IT course, computer science, finance, marketing. And in a lot of your schools, you will have pathways that that you can take that will give you some sort of credential certification and really help you prepare for that career well into your career. So next is high school graduation. This one, again, is pretty simple. It's just tracking how many students have graduated from high school either 4, 5, or 6 years after they started as a first-time ninth grader. Post-secondary enrollment, again, another simple one, the percentage of students who have enrolled in post-secondary. So when we say post-secondary, we can mean just anything after high school. So that can be a 4-year institution, 2-year, and then that could also be a trade school, trade and vocational school, or any sort of like certificate or credential. So that percentage of students who have enrolled there. And then lastly, remediation, percentage of students who take remedial coursework at community college. We focus on community college, but you can also take it in any post-secondary institution. And that's for students who they maybe need a little more help to get them to earning college level credit when they're in post-secondary. I know I went like a little bit fast. Is there anyone who needs any clarification on any of these or has any questions about any of these? Seeing head nods. Okay, so with that, we're going to go into the dashboard. Oh, sorry. It did not make us stop sharing. To exit. Okay. So here's the dashboard, and if someone could share the link in the chat every time, that'd be great. Here's what our landing page looks like. You'll see a description of the Success Network dashboard, sort of what it's for, and then you'll see the 6 views that we have. I'll just click into the ninth grade on track. It's gonna load for a little bit because it has a lot of data. And then once it's loaded, you'll see the name of the dashboard, a small description, and then you'll see this big map of Illinois. So this map is showing all of the districts, all the counties in Illinois. If you hover over a particular district, you'll see the district name. You'll see if the district is part of the leadership community, and then you'll see a summary statistic. So for this one, it's the percentage of all ninth graders that are on track by spring of 2024, if that's the school year. This is for the 2023 to 2024 school year. So you'll see how many students are on track. You'll also see the statewide average. So for example, that school, I think they were 95.4. So they're tracking ahead of the state average, which is 88.2%. On the left-hand side, we have all of our filters. You can filter for school year, and we include in school years all the way back to the 2020 school year for this metric. You can also filter by demographics. So right now we're looking at all students, but for example, you could look at the percentage of low-income students in each district, and then you can hover over, and then you'll see the percentage for those. Let's see. And then you have this color key. The color just indicates the lowest to the highest percentage. So if it's this lighter sort of aquamarine blue, that means it's on a lower percentage. And if it's darker blue, that means it's on a higher percentage. This back. And then on this right-hand side, we have 2 tables. The first table just shows you all of the districts sorted from A to Z. So if you want, you could scroll through, find your district, and then it'll show you the number. You can also, again, filter. So you could search for your district. I'm just gonna, so one second, I think they're from Vienna. So if I just search Vienna, I can, well, first you have to unselect. So first you unselect all the districts, and then you search for your district. Click on it, apply, and then it'll show you just the data for your district. Then if I click here, it'll unselect again. And then lastly, we have a section for leadership community. I don't think that's as relevant for y'all as for today. If you click on the district, you'll be able to see trend data. So data over time for that district specifically. So here we have trend demographic data for Bureau Valley CUSD 340. We're including all the districts or all the demographics for which data is available. So for example, we have all students included, we have Black students, we have low-income students, but we might not have data for 2 or more or Asian students, for example. With this line graph, we can see over time what is the ninth grade on track percentage by demographic, and we can make comparisons between each demographic. This is where we get into the equity piece, like is one demographic performing higher than the other? Why is that the case? Like what kind of context can we add? Do we really know what's happening in that district? There's also a table below it. If the lines can get a little messy, if all of these lines were in the line graph, it might get a little messy. There's also a button here on the left-hand side to compare districts. So we have Bureau Valley CUSD, and we have all student demographics represented here, but we can also choose to compare it to the state, for example. Click apply. And now we have a line for both the district that's chosen and for the state. Now we can compare over time, again, what's happening in the state versus in the district. And we also have it in the table. And then I'm just going to go back to my map. All of the different views are pretty much exactly the same. I think the only ones that are different are post-secondary enrollment. We're not able to break things down by demographic. So I think we have something a little different there. Let's see. So here we break it down by 2-year college enrollment versus 4-year college enrollment trends instead of demographics. And then let's see one more. If we go to early college coursework, someone tell me if I'm over time. I'm just going here. If we go into early college coursework, we have a comparison of demographic between that district and the comparison demographic for the whole state. So there's a lot to play around with here. What we're going to ask you to do in this next section is to just choose one of these views, find your district, and if you're not sure which district you're in, just let us know which school you're in and we can search that up for you real quickly. But select your district and just explore. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat or raise your hand. But we will also be putting some guiding questions in the chat to think about while you're exploring these different views. So with that, now it's time to explore the dashboard. We're going to give you 7 minutes for this exercise, and we're actually just going to remain in the main room so we could all come back to the Zoom. If you didn't get through all the questions, that's completely fine. They were just meant to help you think about what you were saying. And I would love to have 2 volunteers share what they saw. Yeah, see Aisha and Grayson. Aisha, you can go ahead first.
All right, so for the first question, I had observed the percentages of students in the CTE program for health science in the CPS district is only 1.3%. And then for the second question, the one thing that surprised me was that it was below average because the state average was 3.0. Wow. The CPS district is 1.3. And I'm also in the CTE program, so that's kind of confusing. And then something interesting, well, actually exciting, that I was seeing while viewing the data collection was I saw that different school districts had almost identical data. So some of them were below average while some of them did reach the average. And in my opinion, I think that's the situation that's happening is people aren't attending the schools that will influence them into their future occupation. Like most people want to go to school for nursing, but some of them aren't in CTE programs. So how will that give them a step to get into their field? And then for the last question, I had said that something that can be done to improve these outcomes are people should attend CTE programs if they're interested in the STEM or healthcare field.
Awesome. Those are great reflections. I'm glad that you used your own experience being a student in CTE to sort of inform what you were looking for. I think we found some great conference topics, possibly. I'll return to that in a second. And thank you, Paige, for sending your reflections in the chat as well. I might call on you just to share for just 30 seconds. Grayson, you can go next.
So with my district, I noticed that we do have high graduation rates, which is exciting to know that kids are trying and they're pushing themselves to graduation. But I also observed that in some of our dual credit classes, it's lower than I thought, actually. It's under half. So as someone who takes dual credit classes and I benefit from that, I would like to see more kids in my school taking dual credit classes and pushing them to that next step.
Absolutely. I hear another conference topic. Thank you, Grayson. And Paige and TU, I didn't get your first name, but if you both want to share just one thing from what you sent in the chat, that'd be great. So I'll just go with Paige first.
Sure. The number of students enrolled in 3-year education and 4-year education is very common. And I assume one would be best higher the other each year throughout the year.
Okay, Paige, I think your network was coming in and out, but I think I heard that the number of students enrolled in 2-year and 4-year were pretty similar and you were expecting something different. Is that correct? Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting to see the data like right in front of you when we have these, preconceived notions about what's actually happening versus what is happening. And it might be interesting, again, to try and understand why we think a certain way versus what we're actually seeing. Okay, and then TU, if you want to share one thing from what you put in the chat.
I was glad to see that people who graduated from my school were more likely to go to a 4-year college. They want to learn more than just going to 2-year. Yeah, longer careers have like more time in college and it's harder. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it might be interesting to see like which kinds of students are going to 2 versus 4-year, accessibility to both, why they choose to go to 2 versus 4-year. So yeah, it's really interesting to be able to add some context, some qualitative data to what you're seeing in the quantitative data. So what we want to do is use this dashboard and use your experience as being a high school student and kind of combine that to do a conference presentation at the Success Network conference in February next year. So anyone who's interested in presenting at the conference, that will be a question in the exit slip today. The choices will be yes, no, and unsure. So if you're really excited about presenting, say yes. If you definitely don't want to, say no. If you change your mind, you can probably just let us know. If you're unsure, if you'd like have a little inkling, but maybe